Guns up, Poke fans. It's time for PokeCast. Broadcasting live at Mr. Bill's Seafood Express, located at 500 East McNeese Street in Lake Charles. Now, here's your host, Jim Gazzolo.
Welcome back to Mr. Bill's across campus from McNeese State University and a 92.9 The Lake. It's another Wednesday night. It's rainy and it's Will Wade for the entire hour. That's thrilling for most people, absolutely frightening for me. That's all I'm going to say. A couple of things to get into before we get started here. Women's basketball returns to action tomorrow night at the Legacy Center. 7 o'clock start against Northwestern State. The men will then play UNO on Saturday as part of a doubleheader, trying to extend their win streak to 18 games. What do you think of that? 13 games, I'm sorry. Trying to get your 18th win. That's where you go.
Do you even know what you're talking about?
Absolutely not. You rattle me to no end, Coach. You rattle me to no end. Baseball and softball tickets are on sale now. Also, baseball's first practice is Friday, and the Diamond Dinner is Friday night. And Saturday is the baseball alumni game. Starts at 1 o'clock. Batting practices at 11:30. Don't forget to watch basketball games on the road here at Mr. Bill's as a watch party comes. They're becoming famous. You're making it exciting for people. Coach Will Wade is our guest for the entire hour. Did you demand the entire hour?
No.
Did you request the entire hour?
No.
Oh, boy, it's going to be a long hour. All right, so people, help me out here because he gives me a hard time. If you have a question, feel free to ask. Don't make me be the only one asking questions. He doesn't bite, although he'll tease you to death. All right, let's start with the other night, Monday night. Masterful job of coaching in the last 0.3 seconds. Is that what you'd call it?
Yeah, great. I coached all the free throws, too. All the free throws.
I was going to ask. We're going to get to those.
I coached those, too.
So you get that win. There's a lot of questions people have asked me about. First of all, the Cullum, was he out of bounds?
It's a legal play. I talked to the coordinator of officials today. It was a legal play.
So, but there was never any discussion during the game about it?
No, it's a legal play.
And what makes it a legal play? Because he had been knocked out?
No, because his one foot was out, one foot was in, and the foot that was in never left, and he reestablished on that foot.
So no questions in your mind?
No.
Even though some Southland
That's
fans
what all
got
you media people like to do.
Did I ever ask
you
a question
about it?
about
stir the pot on stuff. I just told you, it is a legal play. So what else is there to talk about?
Nothing. I was just
it's
clarifying.
A legal play. Let's move on.
It was on
100%.
Twitter. It was on Twitter, and I just
because it's on. There's a lot of stuff that's on Twitter that's wrong.
I agree with that. I just asked you what the ruling was.
It was 100% legal play.
Okay.
Eddie Jackson, our coordinator officials, called me today. Said it was 100% legal play. Let's move on.
I'm moving on. I'm moving on. Okay, next question that was asked to me.
What did you think? Did you think it was a legal play?
I actually thought his back heel was up and didn't see it touch, so I thought it was a legal play anyway. Okay. I had no questions about it. Next question that
you question everything. How could you have no questions about that?
Next question somebody asked for me to ask you is, they fouled you. They thought there was a 3-point lead. The kid fouled Mike Saunders down the stretch. What is your philosophy on fouling a 3-point lead?
We don't foul.
Okay. Why?
It's about 50-50 foul or don't foul, and that's just my philosophy. I mean, I could give you a 20-minute dissertation on why I don't foul, but that would put everybody to sleep.
Well, we got an hour to kill.
That would put everybody to sleep, but
it would be talking about some other things you're going to try to bring up.
The biggest reason is I think if you foul, it sets a bad mindset with your team defensively that like if you're going to be a tough-minded team that gets stops, like you need to get a stop at the end of the game too. And, certainly there's things you can do to make sure that you're shading towards the best shooters and that sort of thing. But, I'm in the we're going to play it out and we're going to guard you category.
So you're
but literally the numerics on it are the teams who foul win just as often as the teams who don't foul, and the teams who don't foul go to overtime just as often as the teams who do foul.
So you're more of the guy that will then place guys, make sure nobody gets an open look on the three.
That's what we would hope, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the idea, is that you guard their best guy and that that there's no that they don't get the shot off, but it doesn't always work out that way.
No. Okay, and so the last question on this was, you're now down 2 as you're bringing the ball up was your plan to go? First of all, you didn't call it. You didn't call a timeout.
We had a play that was for.
Were you going to go for 3 or 2?
We were going to try to shoot a 3, but we were going. We were driving to the rim to see if they collapsed. If they collapsed, we were going to kick it out for 3. If not, we were going to lay it in. But we were going for 3. I think on the road, you play for the win.
Okay, so now we just got a little.
We were going to shoot a 3 if we could.
See, now in that we just got a little glimpse into your basketball mind, so that was exciting for everybody. No, that was requested. People were asking me. So, all right, so let's get into the last play. You obviously put 2 bigs on the line. You're not worried about the foul at that point. Shoemate makes the big play first to knock the ball loose. First of all, you missed the 3. You missed the free throw. If you made your free throws like you had the 2 previous games, you wouldn't have been in that situation. But since you missed the free throws, Shoemate makes the big hit, knocks it out to Cullum. Cullum keeps it alive, keeps it on the rim, and Shoemate is smart enough not to dunk it. Go through that work. What do you see?
I mean, you pretty much described it. You described it well. The one thing we did do is we typically free throw X, which means we crossed the 2, but we spun them both out on this one, and we spun them out because they've been pinching us pretty good on the X's, and we couldn't get through. So we spun them both out the last couple minutes, and that was part of the reason we were able to get the ball, as opposed to our typical X. And it was certainly really heads up by Shoemate not to dunk it, just because time could have expired. If he would have dunked it, it was a really heads up play just to tip it in, and just one of those. We got fortunate. I mean, you got, if you're gonna run off 12, 13 in a row and have a special season, a good season, you have to have some good fortune along the way, and we had that. At Corpus. I mean, look, it's never going to be easy when you're on the road. It's like I told our guys. I mean, it's never easy. They've won 16 straight against us. We hadn't beat them in 10 years, over 10 years. And, it's not like they're just going to say, all right, here you go. We're tired of beating you. Just come on in and beat us. They've won the league the last 2 years, the tournament. They've been in the NCAA tournament. They've got some pride about what they do. They've got some real, championship level DNA into what they do. So you knew it was going to be tough, especially at their place. They were going to make a stand and try to block kind of our freight train that's coming down the tracks. And they did a really nice job of that. And fortunately, we were able to make a play at the end.
You're down 18 with 13 left. What was your first comments to the team at that point? Obviously, they had gotten really hot after. They don't shoot like that. Roberts got really hot, hit some threes.
Well, Roberts is a good shooter. He's the only good shooter they got. But he's a good shooter.
But they're not a team that's going to run that off like usual.
Correct.
They're going to grind you down. In this case, what would you say to your team at that point?
I don't know if that's suitable for radio.
Okay.
But
clean it up a little bit for us.
I mean, we just got.
It's a podcast, so you can.
We got in the huddle. We sang "Kumbaya," got the campfire out, and roasted some s'mores, and said everything's going great.
Okay, so what was the first goal? Get to under 10? Just try to cut it.
Our biggest thing is we play those 6-minute games. Get it to 6 minutes where it's within 3 possessions. So if we can get it to 6 minutes where it's in single digits, 9 points is 3 possessions. That's and we had it to 4 or 5 by the 6-minute mark. And so that's our biggest thing is get it to, we call the 6-minute game winning time. So get it to winning time, get it to that point where we can, give ourselves a shot. So that's typically what we talk about. That's what we talked about in that circumstance is just let's do it. Let's do what we do to put ourselves in position, to have a chance in the 6-minute game and to execute and to do what we do in the 6-minute game. Now, we didn't execute very well in the 6-minute game with what we're supposed to do, but, we did get it there and give ourselves a shot at it. And
obviously DJ Richards starts it. Interesting enough, you said he would say he was the guy who ignited it. He did actually use that word a little bit today. But he gets it started with a 9-2, helps out with a 9-2 run, including a 4-point play. Now, that's his third 4-point play in 3 games. You ever seen that before?
Never.
Okay.
It's crazy.
So when you start
Have you seen that before?
No, I haven't. No, I have not. When you start getting hot like that, when did you feel like you actually had a chance?
I felt like we had a chance the whole time. It's easy to sit up here and say that now, but we've always kind of worked our way back. I felt like they made some shots they typically didn't make when they went on the run. We missed some shots that we typically miss. We missed 3 or 4 layups. We missed a wide open layup in transition that we'll make 98 times out of 100. And Mike just missed it. And so, we just had to kind of get the game back under control, get the game back how we were playing in the first half, and settle down a bit. And so we were able to do that, but we never really panicked or we're just going crazy. It was just, hey, look, we got to calm down. We got to get back to what we do and do what we do at a little bit higher level, do it a little bit better. And it just decreased our margin for error quite a bit. But even at that point, it wasn't like we shut them out and held them scoreless. They made some shots. They made some plays. They made some free throws, and so we weren't perfect, but we didn't have to play perfect. We just had to play well, and luckily, us playing well was good enough to get it done.
Yeah, listen to how these people listen to everything you say.
They're waiting to listen to you.
No, nobody ever does that. No, and I think they're a little frightened of you. They don't ask questions about you. They don't second guess you.
I don't think they're frightened.
I think they're a little frightened of you. Okay.
I know one guy who's going to ask a question tonight.
Okay, I hope so. One thing you do have is you have the ability to have multiple guys get hot, which helps you. How much searching did you have to do in the first 4 or 5 minutes of that second half to try to find a right combination?
Yeah, we've got to find the right guys out there, especially at the guard spot. When we're not scoring, we have certain lineups that score better. When we need stops, we got certain lineups that can get us stops. We have the analytics and numbers on all that, so you have to shift to kind of what you need or what your team needs at that time, and that's when we put DJ in. I thought Omar played really well, and that's when we moved, but we had to move. Our best offensive lineups with JG at point guard and Hade and DJ. So even though Omar had been playing well, the game kind of called for we had to have all of our guys. We had to have 2 drivers in there that they had to guard on the perimeter so we could get by them, which was Hade and Garcia. We had to have shooters in there. We had to have Cullum in there, who was our shooting big. The game kind of dictates who you play and what you need, and that game dictated that we needed that lineup out there, and we played those guys for long stretches without breaks. And when you're down like that, that's what you got to do.
Yeah, when you get a historic comeback like that, your season can take off. You've been in this before. Where do you think it goes now, and how much confidence do you build from that? And is it worried about a little bit of we can open this up anytime we want too? Also.
Oh no, we wash all that out now. There's things called dangerous wins. That's what you call a dangerous win. And so we'll root all that out. You only got so many escape jobs in you now.
Well, this is your second big one.
No,
Lamar was probably the first one. Or,
Lamar?
UL.
We beat Lamar by 20.
Wow.
How's Lamar an escape job? We beat them by 20. We whipped their ass.
I tried very hard to catch myself. You saw that, right?
Huh?
I tried very hard to catch myself there. You just jump on any little mistake.
No, I'm just...
No wonder these people are frightened of you.
No.
I'm scared of you.
No, I was just... I'd like for our host to be factually correct. Is that asking too much?
I had a slip. I'm not as young as I used to be.
Asking too much?
I did say this is the longest hour of my life.
I wouldn't call ULL an escape. I thought, we played well and we got down and all the technicals and stuff kind of happened. That was, we just came back and won.
You had to add one technical to the crowd.
We came back. Yeah, we came back and won. Almost got a technical at UIW after Cullum got his. Almost charged out there at that official. But
I saw that.
I decided better than to do that.
I saw that. I thought that would have been kind of fun.
Huh?
You see, your boss actually used to get a few technicals, when he was here.
Yeah.
He got there was 4 games in a row he got him. He never stayed his problem was he couldn't stay in the box.
Oh, the coaching box?
No, there was no.
They just sent us a video on that being in the coaching box. We got to be back in the coaching box now. They just sent us a video on that.
He just ignored that. He needed a get-back coach. The old football get-back coach?
Yeah.
That's what he needed. So, do you guys talk about the fact that some of the things we talked about is you knock down all these kind of walls of McNeese with 17-2, best start in program history. If you go to 18-2, the win totals and all this, you guys have kind of embraced that. Well, what makes you guys embrace that? And
we talk about it some. We don't talk about maybe as much as you think. We talk about it leading up to the game, kind of, hey, here's what we can check off by net. Matt sends me a list of different things. Hey, here's what's on the table today. It's like a menu of
things you can accomplish.
Here's what we've got that we can accomplish that's out there today or this weekend. And I kind of picked the 2 or 3 that I think maybe we can put some teeth into and hold on to. And we roll with we try to roll with those. But certainly this weekend, being off to we have a chance to be the best start in school history, and there's some good stuff that we'll be able to draw from this weekend, I'm sure.
Well, like DJ today said, and I'm going to write. I wrote it down. We want to be the team. We want to be the team that our people chase for history. But you don't talk about that, you say?
No, I mean, that's more. They talk internally about that type stuff, but I let them. I try to keep it a little bit bigger picture and just, hey, here's where it is.
Will Wade's our guest here after our first segment. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the weekend and the upcoming weekend against New Orleans and facing Mr. Johnson, who's going to test them defensively for sure on the PokeCast.
Correct.
Mr. Bill's Seafood Express, located at 500 East McNeese Street in Lake Charles, is locally owned and operated. Don't forget to check out Mr. Bill's Seafood Express daily lunch specials Monday through Friday. Mr. Bill's Seafood Express also has live music every Thursday and Saturday night. Chad Poussaint and Jason Guillory, the owners of Mr. Bill's Seafood Express, proudly support the McNeese Cowboys. Mr. Bill's Seafood Express, 500 East McNeese Street in Lake Charles, says, "Go Pokes!"
The McNeese PokeCast is also brought to you by Keelan Construction. Keelan Construction is South Louisiana's leading vertical and horizontal general contractor. Keelan courageously pursues complex challenges to advance further the life and culture of our staff and the communities we serve. And also brought to you by Southwest Beverage. Rooted in the community of Southwest Louisiana since 1954, Southwest Beverage has been a family-owned and operated business for 3 generations. Bud Light and Southwest Beverage has been a loyal supporters of McNeese State University for over 30 years by providing athletic scholarships as well as scholarships for students. We pride ourselves on being the premier beverage supplier in Southwest Louisiana and will continue to be here for many years to come. Thank you for your support of our brands and McNeese Athletics, and as always, go Pokes!
We're back at 92.9 The Lake at Mr. Bill's across campus from McNeese State. What do you got for us, Coach?
I want to Kendall and Lori Groves, come up here. Come here.
What? All of a sudden, he is hijacking
Come here.
the show.
So we have phenomenal fans. A lot of you guys are here, but they have been to every road game so far in the Southlands, including at Commerce, which is not easy to get to, at Corpus, and at Northwestern, and they were in San Antonio and at Incarnate Word, sitting above the football team at Incarnate Word. They had the football team seated behind us. So on behalf of our team, we signed a ball and wanted to give this to you guys. And so we appreciate all your support. Thank you guys so much for everything that you do. So thank you guys so much. Thank you. They've been to every road game.
Unbelievable.
Every road game. How about that?
You just hijacked the show.
Huh?
You just hijacked the show.
Well, we were doing something nice.
Yeah, that was very nice.
They're incredibly supportive.
Yes. And you couldn't get them better tickets than behind the football team?
Well,
at Incarnate Word?
Have you ever been to Incarnate Word? No.
Not for basketball.
So then
not for basketball.
Don't talk to me about where they said if you haven't been there.
I have been to Incarnate Word for football.
It's a high school gym.
Well, there's a couple of those in your league, so
Yeah.
we can't really say that. At least it doesn't have the CVS on campus, so you'll run into that when you go to Houston Christian.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
That's why we call them.
You going to come to a road game at all?
Yeah.
Which one? Which road game you coming
Thank
to?
God, there's somebody asking a question. Yes.
I don't know if he doesn't count. He doesn't count to ask a question.
He has to count.
You got to answer this question before he asks a question. Which road game are you coming to?
I actually had discussed with both your boss and with Mr. Bonnet about actually riding the bus and doing kind of an essay on the team on a bus.
Well, they've got to get
a road trip.
If you're going to ride the bus, they got to get approval from me. So you better ask me. You better tell me which game you want to do it. You're not riding the bus without approval from me.
Well, I think I start. You got to go up. You got to go up. You got to start at the baseline.
Bonnet's going to come to me and say, "Hey, do we have can Gazzola ride the bus with us?"
When it gets to that point, we will do that. But right now, it's in the infancy stage. I got a new boss I got to deal with.
Bonnet and I are Bonnet, just so you know, Bonnet and I are the only two that were up the whole ride back from
I heard
Corpus.
that. But you were texting me about some things.
Everybody else was asleep. Bonnet and I were up the whole time.
I was awake most of the
night. We were
night,
up the whole time.
But I was getting texts from you about certain things.
Well, you were texting me.
Well, yeah.
So I was just responding.
I just want to make sure you're okay. That's
I'm
all.
okay.
I'm concerned.
All right. Here's my question. Not really a question, more of a statement. You know, I grew up here, been around this my whole life. A lot of these people here, I've seen McNeese basketball during the good days back in the 60s, 70s, early 80s. The bad days, a lot of them lately. But you see the videos that were posted after the win over Corpus Christi, the celebrations and all that. Just the excitement that this team has brought to this community, I've never seen anything like it. I can probably talk for a lot of these people who've never seen anything like it. What is it like for you and this team to see what you have brought to this community?
That's cool. You showed me some of the videos on the ride home on the bus on Facebook and such. And I mean, look, at the end of the day, you want to be something that everybody can rally around, everybody's excited about, everybody enjoys. You know, you want to be 2 hours of fun that gets you out of the real, you know, the problems and everything else that's going on. And with everything, you know, I wasn't here for the Hurricanes. I saw I brought our team over here and saw how bad it was. But, you know, you drive around, you still see tarps on roofs. I mean, you know, there's a lot of stuff still going on. And, you know, to be able to bring some joy to folks and bring some joy to the community, that's fun. I mean, that's what you do it for is, you know, we are the school that everybody around here, you know, recognizes and identifies with and has some sort of connection with. And to be able to, you know, to win and let people puff their chests out a little bit, that's a fun thing. That's a good thing. And you know, I talk to our guys all the time about how well everybody's treated us, treated me and my family, treated our team, treated our players. And, you know, the best way to give that back is to play well and to give them some joy by how we play and how we handle ourselves. And so we try to do that, and it's been fun to have that connection with the community and see everybody support us, and hopefully we can keep it rolling and keep it building.
I was kind of worried about a couple of people in those videos getting hurt.
Yeah.
They were about to fall off their couches and that. I mean, I did not have that reaction, by the way. So just so you know.
I didn't expect you to.
No. I was more of how'd they get away with that?
Of course, we expected that reaction.
Wow. But the road trip, it's your longest road trip now because you had the 2 games, both in Texas. You're through with that. I don't think do you have another 2-game road trip?
No. So those are long weekends, man. You leave on Friday morning. I mean, we practice Friday morning and leave right afterwards because you have a slotted shoot-around time, so you got to be at wherever you're going by the slotted shoot-around time. And so, I mean, we didn't get back till 3 in the morning on Tuesday morning. So, I mean, you're gone almost 5 days. I mean, it's a pretty good little trip. So.
Yeah,
but luckily our guys have a good time with each other. They enjoy it, and we try to, you know, we have as much fun as we can with it.
But
try
now
to mix a little business and fun.
You're done with it. You knocked out 3 of the considered contenders already. You've knocked back.
Who are those?
Texas A&M, Corpus Christi.
Yeah.
The number 1 preseason favorite, Southeastern, and who I thought was going to be the number 1 contender, Lamar. You've already beaten them all 3. You have a 2-game lead. You can't ask for a better start, can you?
No, we're 6-0. How can we be any better?
Well, you could have won by more than 1 point. Okay. Although that was more excitement.
We just thought we wanted the national TV audience to be excited and keep
Well,
them on the
that's
edge
what I was
of
going to
their
ask
seat.
is, did you have a script you had to follow for ESPNU to get back on it?
I wish. I wish.
But getting to that, the attention you've gotten from that game, what has it been like? Who'd you hear from, and how much you think it surprised people how entertaining the game was?
I showed Matt when we got on the bus. I had 220 some odd text messages when we got on the bus and WhatsApp messages and all sorts of stuff. So, look, whenever you're on TV like that, people are watching and people care. And so whenever you can win, I've got a bunch of messages from recruits. So it's a positive thing.
You also said that you can't pay for that kind of
No, you can't buy that type of exposure. So we were on SportsCenter Top 10 again. Shoemate was for the tip-in. I mean, we were on ESPN for 2 hours as an infomercial on our school, our program, our area. The only thing that'd been better is if we had a home game. But, if we can stay where we are, we'll get the semifinal game televised from the conference tournament from the Legacy Center. And so, I think it's a real positive for our school. I mean, it's not like you can just go buy 2 hours on national TV. That's pretty hard to do. It's pretty expensive to do too. So to be able to do that is huge.
How much do you think the move to Monday night with the league has helped not only
tremendously
the league but your conference?
It's helped with everything. It's helped with officiating. It's helped with exposure. It's helped with everything.
You're giving a blanket statement of good officiating?
The officiating is much better on Monday. I mean, we had a guy who worked Big 12 games at the Corpus game. We had another guy who does mostly Missouri Valley. Like those are good officials. The officiating's better. The exposure's better. It's not just us. I mean, I'm selfish, obviously, towards us. We've played how many? Let's see how good you are, Jim. How many Mondays have we played in conference? 3, right?
Yes.
So the first Monday when we were at Northwestern State, Shoemate had the dunk, right?
Yeah.
The next Monday, Nicholls State had the 7th play in the top 10. We had the 10th play yesterday, or this Monday.
Yeah.
So all 3 weeks, our league has had a play in the SportsCenter top 10, all because we play on Monday night. None of those plays make it on Saturday. Shoe had those 3 slams. We tried to get that on SportsCenter top 10. No go, Saturday. So it's all because of Monday. We should move the damn Saturday games to Friday.
You've said that.
Yes.
Would extend those weekends no longer, but
you just have to change the travel up a
travel
little bit. But if you want to get exposure and good, it's the same thing. The 2 days that the least amount of people play are Fridays and Mondays. So, extra day of rest, as Chad points out.
Chad says he's going to have a question for you, too, by the way.
Oh, he has a question.
Yes.
Matt's so tall, I got to. So, hey, whenever the game's going the other night and those teams going on those little long runs like that, what's the difference in calling a timeout 2 or 3 times or calling a timeout like y'all did like 1 time in that big long stretch of them going, 12, 13,
I don't
whatever
like
the run was. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was 18-0, got up to 20-0. I
wasn't going to bring it up.
I was about to.
I don't like calling timeouts if I don't have to. I feel like in college you should save them all till the end because you've got to help your guys down the stretch. So I feel like you always need the timeouts down the stretch. But when they're on a run like that, you got to try something to break the momentum up. And the way I look at it, if you call 1 and you can't break the momentum, you're not going to need the 2 and 3 anyway. So you might as well just be done with it. But I kind of felt like we were going to be able to make a comeback, and we need to just kind of save it and turn the tide and turn the ship as best we could. But it takes a lot for me just to call the 1 timeout during those runs. A lot of times I'll just let it go because I just let them try to work through it.
I got a second one too. My second part of that is like whenever like Shahade and them are not like shooting like they normally are. Like, how do you figure out like who to play, who not to play? Like,
you just
that guy kills it, but he just didn't shoot as good as he.
Yeah, you got to go
best.
search for guys who are feeling good and guys who are hot. And once you find the guys like DJ, and then you just kind of roll him in there and play him till he fizzles out. Then you find somebody else. So you just got to rotate them, and that's why you got to have multiple good players. I mean, you got multiple good players, multiple guys that can come in there and score, multiple guys that can come in there and make things happen. It gives you the best chance to find a guy who's hot and to find a guy who can make things happen. And so I think Hade was pressing a little bit this weekend, and he'll be back to his normal self this coming weekend.
That's when you're trying to find. That's when it
Shahade
looks like,
Wells. You know the name now?
Yes.
Okay.
I've heard of it. But that's what you were doing, kind of in that you were experimenting with trying to find the hot hand.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
So when you have that
And
going
we found
on,
it in DJ.
yes, you found it the game before in Mike Saunders.
Yeah.
That gives you another weapon.
Yeah.
What's it like to be able to? Now this is the second time where you've gotten an impact player at mid-season this year. What's it like to not only get them into the system, but also make sure it doesn't disrupt some of the other things?
It's a challenge. I mean, you've got to be honest with the guys. You got to be honest with the team. And before I started playing Mike, I met with Mike first. Then I met with Omar Cooper. Then I met with our leadership group on the team and said, hey, here's what we're going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. And here's how we're going to do this. And if anybody doesn't like this, you better let me know now.
Well, there you go.
And so if anybody doesn't say anything, then this is what the hell we're going to do. And really, if they did say something, I was still going to do it. But
I figured that much.
I would at least listen. But hey, this is what it is. We're all on the same page. This is value add. And here's why I think it's value add. And here's why we're going to do this. And everybody needs to get on board with this. And we need to support him and help him as best we can. But, I was very clear to Mike, your job's to come in here and not screw this up. It's not like we need your job's to come in here. And I felt even in the Lamar game, I told him, like, your job's to pass the ball to the law firm of Wells, Garcia, and Shoemate. This is not for Mike Saunders to come in and score. This is not Mike Saunders getting his game off. Like that this is not that. This is you pass the ball to the guys who've been scoring all year. That's what your job is. And if you can't do that, Cooper will certainly pass the ball to him. He's shown me that for 18 games. So if you want to do that, then we'll play you. If you don't want to do that, then we'll sit your ass. And so it's that simple. So your job's to pass the ball to them. Their job's to keep making the shots, and you'll get some assists. And your job is to make layups and wide open threes when you're left open.
Apparently, he opened up his own branch of that law firm in the second game against Incarnate Word with 20 points, though.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah. But he was all layups and threes.
Yeah, it was all within the offense.
Until the crazy step back at the end that he hit.
Have you addressed that?
Huh?
Did you address that one?
What do you think?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
All right, before we get to the second break, I want to point out that the school will be having a bus trip to Saturday to the Nichols game on February 17th at 3 p.m. The game is, and on Monday, February 26th, I believe the first game already has the first bus already filled. Students get free trips, a free lunch, free rally towels, and a free T-shirt. Just deadline sign up is February 9th. When we come back with Coach, we're going to talk about the upcoming weekend after this on the PokeCast.
The McNeese PokeCast is also brought to you by Southwest Louisiana Credit Union. Southwest Louisiana Credit Union now offers an account just for McNeese students. It's the Blue and Gold checking account. All it takes is $5 to get you in. You get a free debit card, online and mobile banking, and access to a smart ATMs. There's no service charge. You can even get free financial counseling. That's why Southwest Louisiana Credit Union is now the official credit union for McNeese students and McNeese athletics. Find out more at swlacu.com. To open a Blue and Gold checking account, go by Southwest Louisiana Credit Union at 4056 Ryan Street, about a block away from campus. Membership is required. As the oldest athletic booster organization at McNeese, the McNeese Cowboy Club is proud to continue providing support to all McNeese athletes for 49 years. We meet every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. in the Cowboy Club room located over the south end zone with talks from coaches and other leaders in McNeese athletics. Come join us and discover what being a McNeese athletic booster is all about. And go Pokes.
We're back at Mr. Bill's, where there is the Always McNeese State Watch Party for the road games from Mr. Bill's across campus and on 92.9 The Lake. It's the PokeCast with Will Wade, the hour-long guest. You having fun?
Are you having fun?
I
always have fun.
You seem to. Mostly at my expense, it does seem. All right, Coach, we talked a little bit about the national attention, but I want to ask you this about something different that's never happened here. It happened 2 weeks ago. It happened this week for the second time. A vote in the AP poll. We've never had
Was
that.
it your
here.
vote?
I do not get a vote, no. I know whose vote it was, though, I believe.
You do?
Yeah.
Who?
Well, I don't know who it was. I think it's the guy from Connecticut. Because I tried reaching out to him, and somebody told me that he didn't vote for him. He was out of town. So I wanted to ask why he voted for you guys. I wasn't criticizing him. I just wanted to know. Thought it'd be interesting to find out why.
Gotcha.
So I'm working on that, just for you. Maybe he's a big Will Wade fan. Maybe it's the fact they're on Monday.
I seriously doubt that.
Why? You have some fans. All Rebels have fans. You know that.
Not many.
But the AP, that's a big deal because that's kind of the gold standard for people.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. I mean, I was actually telling some of our folks the other day, that's, to me, is the most impressive thing we've done is that. Of all the other stuff. Some of the other stuff is just because we hadn't been very good for a while, which we can't control that, but that's, that's something that other people nationally are recognizing. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. That's not being in the mid-major poll is a big deal, from where we've been. But that's something that
being in the top half of the Southern Conference poll was a big deal around here for a couple of years.
Well,
let's be realistic about it.
I got you. You'll like this. This is a good story. So we were talking on the bus on the way back, and we were talking about the 23 wins, and Matt was saying, I'm not going to be very happy if we win 23 games. I said, well, most people aren't. I said, Matt, what did you think when I got in the press conference and said we're going to win 23 games? He said, I wanted to walk up there and tap you on the shoulder and said, you know where you are?
Well, that's what I want. That's what I thought. You said 23 plus 1. I always you keep forgetting the plus 1.
Okay. You think it's going to make that big of a difference?
No, it's not.
Okay.
But I think it was a little cocky when you texted me after VCU and said, what do you think of 23? And that might have been a little cocky, but a little early, but it was impressive. But the national attention, a lot comes with it. A lot of big heads swell on that. You've been able to keep guys kind of pretty grounded. How do you do that? Because this is stuff that's not happened here. It's not just...
Well, you've been to practice?
A couple.
Yeah.
They get loud at times.
Yeah, you just got to let them know,
I do like the balloons. I do the turnover balloons.
Or you like those?
Yeah, actually I do.
Chad and Bill don't like those.
Why?
They want the players to get more turnovers. They brought their own balloons the other day, try to help the players out. Had to go over and pop them some guns, so they couldn't help the players out.
How many balloons is?
They get 10. They get 10. They had unlimited today.
Every time they pop a balloon,
yeah, they
have to run after the 10.
Yeah.
So we brought 20 more.
How about that?
Well, there you go. That's the kind of fan. That's the kind of fans you want. Those that participate, isn't it?
Exactly right. Exactly right. But
you always talk about the fact that winning brings different problems.
Oh yeah, winning has its own set of issues. That's for sure. But look, you got to address them. We have leadership meetings every week. We have leadership. We have all sorts of different ways we're able to touch the guys, meet the guys, and get our message across to them that, hey, this is what it is. This is why we win. And if this ever changes, then we're not going to win. And so you've got to explain the why behind everything. And here's why we do it. Here's what we do. And if this ever gets messed up, then we won't win. But there's always stuff we can get better at. There's always stuff we can move forward at. And I try to do a good job of keeping perspective on, hey, this was good, this was bad, this is what we need to improve, this is what we need to build off of. And our guys have been good. It also helps, we have some older guys, Shahade's, we got some older guys that have been around and can certainly, help echo what we've been talking about.
As far as coming up this weekend, start with New Orleans.
Yeah.
Obviously, they present a problem. They're very physical. They've always been one of the more physical teams in the league. But they also have one of the best, if not the best scorer in the league, Johnson, who leads the league in scoring. Coming off 35, you said the other day.
I'm getting some boiled shrimp. Is that all right?
Unbelievable.
Have you ever had the boiled shrimp at Mr. Bill's?
We got to talk about that.
Have you ever had the boiled shrimp at Mr. Bill's? That's a question. Yes or no?
No.
Huh?
No.
You don't eat seafood?
No.
Jim, this is phenomenal. I get this just about every time I come in here.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you ever had the spice on the shrimp? It's perfect.
Do you understand? No. Sometime when we're off camera here, I will discuss why I do not eat seafood. Okay?
It's not going to be a very good reason.
It's not really, so just accept that. Anyway,
I'm just telling you, the boiled shrimp here is
as
good as you can get.
Okay, back to Johnson. Defending him is obviously the key. But you also
that's pretty obvious.
You have talked about.
How about this? You want to hear a crazy stat?
Sure.
You can use this. I'll give you permission to use this in one of your lead-in stories because I know you're going to steal it anyway. So.
Oh wait a minute! No, wait a minute.
You're going to steal it anyway.
Wait a minute! Wait a minute! Wait a minute!
Are you going to listen to what the stat is first?
Go ahead. Yes.
Can you listen to what the stat is first? New Orleans has not won a Division I game this year when he doesn't score 29-plus points.
Really?
That's crazy stat. They haven't won a Division I game this year when he doesn't score 29 or more. Now, they've lost games where he scored 40, but they haven't been able to win a game where he scores less than 29 points against a Division I team. That is wild.
That is a wild stat.
Are you going to use that in your story?
I will now. There's no question I will use that in the preview.
Can I get an attribution at the bottom?
Sure. Courtesy of Will Wade. How's that?
Thanks.
Courtesy of Will Wade, who pointed out. But I want to point out this to you, which was a little bit interesting that you said today, is Matt Bonnet wrote a column. You raved about it in the press conference and said it was the best thing you read all year. The best thing you read all year.
Best writer in the restaurant.
And then turned around and said you don't even read what we write. So how do you know that?
Huh?
How do you know that if you
Because it's the only thing I've read all year on our
there you
team,
go.
and so it's the best.
There you go. So you will not know if I steal that number from you then?
Huh?
Then you will not know if I steal that number from you.
No, I probably won't.
Okay, so we move on. But you also mentioned
There's a great article about getting the fans engaged, getting people out to the legacy.
It's in the fourth segment.
It's a tremendous article.
It's in the fourth segment.
It's in the fourth segment.
Yes. But the third segment, which we will now get back.
Are you going to write an article about something of that like, or not?
Actually, I did. Thank you.
You did?
4 weeks ago.
Oh, there you go.
Before the UL game, where I
seems like it had such a great effect that Bonnet had to write another one.
Well, because people like you endorse him. See, you didn't come out and endorse
you. I endorse you too. We love you. It's all in good fun.
Let's get back to the question about New Orleans. Because you said something today.
We kind of covered it. You got to stop Johnson.
No, yeah, but you also said something else today as I go back into my notes. You said that you were worried about your offense being soft and finishing around the rim.
Oh, I'm not worried about it. We are.
Okay.
We have the worst 2-point field goal percentage in the Southland Conference.
Yeah, and I'm surprised by that, especially with Shoemate. So what do you do?
You're surprised. I'm surprised. We're all surprised.
So what do you do about that? Besides make practices tougher, which your practices are pretty tough.
Oh, you get pads out and you beat the hell out of them, and you get them to finish.
Is that a polite way of putting it? You beat the hell out of them?
Yeah, I was trying to be nice. At 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, you best believe we'll be in there doing that.
But you gave them the last 2 days off, right?
Yes.
And that's because of the trip and everything.
Trip and just the weekend was a long weekend. I mean, I trust the guy. I mean, I gave him today off, and I walk in there at a lunch meeting at noon. I walk in there after lunch, and I got 3 guys out there with laptops watching film. I got 2 guys on the court shooting. I got 3 guys waiting here. I got 2 guys over there. I walk up to my office. I got 2 guys sitting in my office. I mean, they all came through. So it's not like they took the day off, but we didn't have anything formal. Today.
Well, that's because it rained and everybody was off school. Seems to be a tradition now. Every time there's a show, we have no school, and
yeah,
that's it coming out. Okay, when we get back with Will Wade in our final segment,
can I eat my boiled shrimp now?
You can start eating. Yes, everybody wants to see that, anyways. We'll talk about Matt Bonnet's column after this on the PokeCast.
The McNeese PokeCast is also brought to you by Twisted Vines. They offer residential and commercial lawn and landscaping maintenance, irrigation and drainage installation and repairs, outdoor landscaping, lighting, holiday and event light installation also with 3D drawings. Contact Ryan Boyd at 337-274-2267 or email info@twistedvineslc.com. Like them on Facebook and follow on Instagram at twistedvineslc. If you mention you heard the Twisted Vines on the PokeCast, you will receive a 10% discount off your purchase. And Pompelli Tire, official tire store of McNeese Athletics. Experts in tires, EV-specific tires as well. We do more than just tires. Mechanical work as well. A full-time mechanic is on site at all times to help in your needs.
We're back at Mr. Bill's across campus, home of the McNeese Watch Party with Will Wade eating away his food at dinner. It's always good to have dinner theater with Will Wade, I guess. Yes, we have a question, or we have a statement. Yes. It's not on?
Now it is.
Okay.
Hey, Alan Apshire with the Cowboy Club. I just wanted to say that to go along with the student bus trip, the McNeese Cowboy Club is hosting buses for the fans for $50. You're responsible for your game day ticket to both the Nichols game and the Lamar games. We're trying to get 2 fan buses to match the 2 student buses for both games. So go to the McNeese Cowboy Club Facebook page, look me up, whatever, we'll get you the information. But we're trying to get our fan base over there to cheer on our Bayou Bandits.
Thank you, Alan. Alan's our president of our Cowboy Club. Do you know that?
I've spoken to his club. Yes, I've met the man. Thank you. Very
They
nice.
invite you back after the first time you spoke?
Actually, no. So I guess that's what.
Alan was in the locker room for the ULL game. Well, Alan was in the locker room for the ULL game.
That's.
He had a good time. We all had a good time.
What was a better time the other night in the locker room?
That was a pretty good locker room the other night.
Yeah.
That was maybe the best one of the year the other night. I thought Dr. Roos was going to break his bones or something in there. He's in there jumping up and down with our players in the middle of the huddle in the locker room. I was worried about Dr. Roos.
Okay, so let's talk about if you get these 2 buses, it is possible you will have more fans than the other team in the Southland game. You know that.
I don't know about that, but yeah, we'll see. We're hopeful. I think Lamar is going to have a very good crowd.
I would imagine, especially if they're still in this, especially if they're still playing well and still in it. For you guys.
By the way, the crawfish sauce here is to die for. I don't know if you've had that.
Okay.
Tremendous.
Now we get. So we've gotten.
I'm trying to get people to come to Mr. Bill's too. They support us. You want people to come to Mr. Bill's. Chad's a good friend.
That's why I
announced. It's his 50th birthday this weekend.
That's why I announce them every time.
Can we wish Chad a happy birthday?
A happy birthday to Chad. How's that for you?
Ryan, are you going to ask a question? You're going to sit back there and be scared. Yeah, come on. You know Ryan Boryak?
Time out.
Our great state representative.
What you're
representing Cameron Parish.
What you're telling me
Cameron Parish.
What you're telling me is you have put your own people into the crowd.
No, he told me before he wanted to ask a question. When I walked in, he said he wanted to ask a question.
Okay, well, at least he's not frightened of you. Go ahead.
Of course he's not. He's got more power than I do.
Oh, yeah, he called me out in front of everybody. Come on now, Coach. No, I got to thank him and his staff. He taught my little 6-year-old how to dribble, somewhat. She still ain't that good, but the camp was only a few days. I mean, they were trying. The kids were trying. Okay, Coach, at the end of the game, I had a little flashback. Cavell, Bigby Williams, LSU, Kentucky, the tip in, the momentum that came from that game for that team. It shifted the power to SEC, okay? This game, the other night, got to make me think that your Cowboys are going to utilize that as best they possibly can. that's just a feel-good thought for me. I think they're going to turn that into something good. Now, question for the coach.
It's crazy. Well, let me ask you. It's crazy you said that. I said that to our staff right after the game. I said that in the locker room.
Okay, well, that's fine. That's good. We think a lot alike. I'm sorry. We think a lot. Apparently, I'm the one that taught my 6-year-old how to dribble, not you. So that's good. But
all right.
You still got some work to do.
You would go love him if you hung out with him. You'd love him.
You still got some work to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got to play Corpus again. I think at least one more time.
Correct. Maybe two. Probably two.
At least once, maybe twice. What are we gonna do to reverse that ball? Get that ball into number 13's hands a little more often than we did the other night, other than dribble and hand off. And I'll hang up and listen.
Wow. He's right about that. We're going to work on that tomorrow morning, too. We've got to be much tougher with the ball. We've got to be – I mean, look, there's no gaps to drive against them. So if you can't drive one-on-one against them, you better be able to reverse the ball to create some gaps. And we couldn't drive against them or reverse the ball to create gaps. So we got to get one of the two fixed. And so we'll get them fixed. I want to get both of them fixed if possible, but we'll for sure get one fixed. But he's 100% right. I mean, we didn't have any spacing. We didn't have any movement. We were back here begging for the ball instead of cutting and getting out of the way. We didn't play how we needed to play, and you got to give Corpus credit. That was a lot of credit to them and how they guarded, but we're certainly going to have to be better than that if we're going to beat them the next time or the next couple times that we play them.
But what about the fact that this can propel you
I told our staff after the game, it was just like Cavell's, and I said we never lost the rest of the year after he tipped that thing in Kentucky and we won the SEC. And I said hopefully this will do the same thing to us. It was the exact same thing. We tipped it in and ran off the court. Everybody was throwing stuff at us and booing us. And so we had a guy leaning over at Corpus saying all sorts of crazy stuff to us when we walked off the court. It was fun. We kind of felt like we were back in it for a minute.
Well, the
guy was chanting FBI at me. We were ready to roll.
Why would they do that?
Yeah.
Why would anybody do that?
We were ready to go.
I thought everybody had forgotten that by now.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think
All
so.
right. This is a long shot, long-term
That was a good question. Very good
Well,
question.
I think half of me thinks you planted the man there. I don't know what happened.
Oh, we got another question.
Oh.
Hi, I'm a little nervous, I'm not going to lie. So I was wondering, so we have like a whole new team this year, except Shoemate. So I was wondering, the team is so perfect. They play so, like they've been playing together for ages. What was your process in like finding and selecting people that you wanted to bring here? Or what made you pick the people you did?
We really just kind of threw darts at a board and figured out who we got. But no, that's a really good question. The first thing is you got to have talent. So talent's the price of admission. You got to look for talent. And then you try to look for some guys who have some shared background, some shared history, some shared struggles. And if you can get those guys together and to play together, you got a better chance to have good chemistry and kind of have everybody fit how you need them to fit. And so the other part of it is we didn't over-recruit. So we've got, we're basically playing 8 or 9 guys right now. The other guys, who aren't playing, we're aware that they may not play coming into the season. And so we don't have a lot of, everything we pretty much told them is how it's gone. And so, when you have that, everybody's a little bit more willing to do what they need to do or to do what they're supposed to do, for the betterment of our team. But the hardest part of anything is you're part of a team, as you know, is to get everybody's selfish desires to fit into your team needs. And so you got to kind of get everybody's selfish in some respect. And so, you got to let your guards know, look, I understand you want to rebound, but if Shoemate's down there, let Shoemate grab the rebound. All right? And you got to let Shoemate know, all right, I understand you want to, shoot pull-up jump shots. Well, if not, you're going to dribble it one dribble, you're going to pitch it to the guard who's going to shoot it. That's not your job. So, you have to kind of put everybody in their lane. The way I look at it is you put everybody in their lane, you tell them to run fast in the race. And so if we can have all 8 or 9 guys lined up in their lanes doing what they're supposed to do and they run fast, then we'll be in pretty good shape. Great question. You guys, great questions tonight.
Thank you. Oh, not mine.
Not your questions. The people who came to the mic asked good questions.
I figured that was
you
coming.
You asked the same bad questions you ask every week. The people who came to the mic asked good questions tonight.
Good to know. Good to know. Self-esteem is so great for me.
You know, we presented.
I get out of here and I want to cry.
You know, we presented the game ball tonight. I think next time what we need to do is we need to have a custom fitting for the Gatsby for you. So you've got all your. We need to bring a tailor in, custom fitting, so we can get your outfit ready for the Gatsby.
You waited 55 minutes to throw that out there.
No, I was just saying. I think
waited for the final countdown.
I think that's the next.
I have one legitimate question for you.
I think that's the next step.
Before we let you finish your
food.
Your
other questions weren't legitimate?
No. One last legitimate question. Somebody asked me this today, and I answered it, but I'll let you do it. Is there any chance that if you were to, say, go undefeated regular season, lose the championship game, you'd get a second bid to the NCAA tournament?
I think a very, very slight chance. A lot of it's not just winning. We'd have to win by a lot better margins than we're winning now. We've won probably, well, there's no probably to it. We've played 6 conference games. We've won 1 conference game by the margin we would need to win by to basically be an at-large team. So we would have to win the next 12 we'd have to win all 12 of them and all by margins that are bigger than we've been winning by to have any chance. Because we've been winning, but we've been sliding in the numerics. So you have to win by certain numbers every night in order to keep your numerics growing. And we haven't been. I mean, we've been winning, but we haven't been winning by the numbers that we need to.
But you're still. I don't know if you look at.
I'd say it's an outside chance.
I don't know if you look at this or not, but in some of the brackets and that, you're basically holding steady at 12, 13 seed. Do you look at that?
Yes.
Okay. And do you project where you want to be?
It's all about the matchup more than the number.
So you don't care where you are or what it's
There's certain teams that would be very good matchups for us. There's certain teams. We could be a 13 seed and get a 4 seed who's a better matchup than a 12 seed against a 5 seed. There's certain teams that we can beat. There's certain teams that if we got them, it'd be lights out. Not good.
Yeah.
It's all about the matchups.
And as we got you for 1 second, a coaching question for you. The Milwaukee Bucks fired their head coach at 30-13. It's a rough business you're in. What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, look, I do have a little bit of insight into this. I don't have a ton. I was actually talking with somebody from the Milwaukee Bucks today about something else.
You gonna be the Bucks coach?
No.
Can we break that here?
Doc Rivers is.
I know. I once scored 4 points on Doc Rivers.
I know you told me that a couple times.
It's a highlight. It's my career highlight. Come on.
A few times. I would say this: to be that good and to fire him in the middle of the year, there were major issues.
And they had to have somebody ready.
Right. You got to understand now. I mean, this is not unprecedented.
No.
The Cavs fired Dave Blatt in the middle of the year, moved up Tyrone Lue, and won the whole thing.
Yeah, the year after he took him to the finals.
Correct. They did the same thing and won. So I mean, there's major issues if you're doing that, and it was probably it probably had to be done. I mean, look, their defense went from, I know you don't know, we don't want to get into NBA stuff. Their defense went with Lopez playing in drop defensive coverage, one of the best in the league under Budenholzer. To now they had him out there blitzing and doing all sorts of crazy stuff, and it's one of the worst in the league, and that's why they haven't been as good. They've been winning, but they just haven't been. Their defensive numbers are nowhere near where they need to be to beat the Celtics, who they're going to have to go through in the Eastern Conference. And I mean, look, Milwaukee's a small market. It's a tough market. It's a tough franchise, and quite frankly, they've got Giannis in his prime, and they have to do everything they can to try to win these next 2 or 3 years, or they're going to waste his prime. He's going to be gone, and the whole thing's going to blow up, and they're going to look like an expansion team again for 10 years. So, they have to do they have to do everything they possibly can to win right now.
Well, there you go. NBA with Will Wade, along with everything else. Will Wade's been our guest for the hour. Don't forget the bus trips for both McNeese students and the Cowboy Club, and you can get 92.9 The Lake will be giving away 4 tickets tomorrow to Saturday's doubleheader around 2:20 tomorrow in the afternoon on Mikey O's show. Enjoy your food, Coach. It seems like you could hardly wait to get the microphone off and dig in. We'll see you next week on the PokeCast.